For a skilled woodworker, building a tiny house is like getting a license to do something truly creative. Today, we've traveled to Tofino on Vancouver Island to meet a man who has done something very special with his home. Hey Phil.
Hey Bryce.
Really nice to meet you, mate.
Nice to see you.
This is one quirky looking house you've got here.
Thank you, yeah.
It definitely has that kind of fairy tale vibe, doesn't it?
Well, we're in the forest, in the rainforest, and probably there are lots of fairies around.
That's true.
I got inspired to build a tiny house to have a space to live. And yeah, I lived in a trailer and in other interesting places. And building a tiny house was a way for me to own a house without a property. And I love building a house. It's a dream, a childhood dream. I'm fulfilling with doing that.
And how large is this home actually?
It's 20 by 8, so very traditional. About 160 square feet plus the loft.
I really love what you've done here with the cedar shingles. That is gorgeous.
Thank you, yeah. It took me about 2 weeks to nail those in.
And I see you've got a solar panel here. Is this house completely off grid?
It's not fully off grid. I got a heater what's running on the grid and as well as a fridge. And the summer probably now I could get the fridge on the solar panel. So I got 3 panels here, a battery bank. I got a bicycle generator behind you. So sometimes, you know, a little workout, I get on here and there's a permanent magnet alternator on there on the back. So I just get a little workout out of it and charge my batteries. And if it gets too hot, I can turn a little fan on here. Oh yeah.
That is such a brilliant idea. What a neat way of powering your tiny house and getting really fit while you're at it.
Yeah, I experimented with a water wheel back there with rainwater and then same thing, harvesting motion energy in with a permanent magnet alternator.
I love how creative you've got with powering this house. That's so unique.
Thank you.
And I see you're collecting rainwater as well.
Yeah, I've got some eaves on the roof and I can collect the rainwater if I have to.
And especially in a place like this where you do get so much rainfall, it's nice to be able to use it.
Yeah, for sure.
I absolutely adore this style of door. This Dutch door is perfect, isn't it? It looks so in character with the house.
Yeah, you know, Dutch doors are designed for farms to keep the livestock out, but still have some fresh air. I love the idea of selling hot dogs or ice cream one day on the market, pull up with the house and just have a little kitchen going and get some sausages out.
I could definitely see that working, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've added so much character to the home as well with all of these little things everywhere.
Yeah, I really like combining natural forms. They're just beautiful the way they are, I don't have to do much. I just have to appreciate them. I'm also a big fan of door knockers, so this one was gifted to me while I was building.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Beautiful lion, and I got another big door knocker in the back.
Well, the outside of this house is completely whimsical. I am so intrigued to see how you've kitted out inside.
All right, let's go in. Welcome inside.
This is unbelievable. Look at all this driftwood everywhere. Oh, that staircase is exceptional.
Yeah, well, that's just a lucky find. And I was kayaking on a little lake and Cynthia, my wife, found this piece of wood and then we just took it with us. Falling in love with a piece of wood happens all the time. And it perfectly has the right rhythm for a staircase.
Just the way that it's all actually perfectly spaced as well.
Mm-hmm.
The chances of having a piece fit that well. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got to be 1 in a million, right?
Yeah.
And so even with this wooden feature, you've managed to get some storage under the stairs as well?
Yeah, there's a little storage here, and then I really like boxes, so I just pull out boxes everywhere. I got lots of different places with boxes.
And your kitchen, again, the wood in here is so beautiful.
Well, I was lucky. Lots of the pieces of wood I found on this property, I just love it's an old growth cedar, most of it. This is almost a burl, so it's round on the bottom. So it's rare to find. I just love the properties of the wood. It's soft, but then finishing off with a nice oil, like a tung oil, it really is hard enough to be used as a kitchen counter.
And the kitchen also looks like it's packed full of character. It's so clever what you've done there with the faucet.
Yeah, well, I just didn't want to have a regular faucet, and I thought maybe I save a little bit of money getting all those bits and pieces. At the end, I spent over $100 on it, so I could have bought a normal faucet. But it has more character now.
It definitely wouldn't have the character if you would have bought that. I totally agree. Another thing that definitely catches my eye in this kitchen is your Driftwood light fitting. That's so cleverly done.
Yeah, so all the lights are wired 12 volt. And because of that, I was able to get a little bit more creative with the lights. And so these are just LEDs and then put on a nice piece of driftwood. I got a couple more of those. I just love it. It's simple and I love the aesthetic of it.
And I see you've got the gas stove and the fridge there as well.
Yeah, it's a propane stove. I really enjoy cooking on propane. And just a little fridge, you know, big enough for 2 people.
Definitely.
And I really like the little toaster oven I just added a month ago. It was a special request from my wife. She really likes baking things. It's small, but you know, definitely does the job.
And again, I really love how much of a theme you've made the driftwood in this house. I can even see it all over here in your storage space as well.
Yeah, I just love the natural form and flow of it. I think it's a piece of art in itself and I try to use it wherever I can.
It does just bring so much extra style and flair into the house, doesn't it?
Just heart, warmth.
Yeah.
And history. I mean, every one of those pieces have like 100, 200, 300 year history. They grow and then they break, they fall in the water, they get washed, the wind, the weather, the sand, and then washed up the beach. You know, there's a whole history in this, what created this shape.
And now here in your home, you get to appreciate that every day.
I do.
And then behind us here, we've got your lovely welcoming lounge area. And that fire just makes such a gorgeous centerpiece, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love fire. In the winter here, it's just very wet and you really want to keep it dry. And a wood stove is the best way of keeping it dry naturally.
I always say it's not actually a home until it has a hearth.
Yeah. Yeah, the heart of the home.
And do you have storage in your seating area here as well?
Yeah, this is a little sofa, but I can pull it out about till here. So this can be a guest bed.
And then you've got your gorgeous workspace over here. Look at that slab of wood again.
Yeah, it has a natural curve in it. I found it on this property again, so I just took the opportunity to use it.
And I see you definitely have not compromised on the amount of storage space that's available. You've got a decent sized book collection. Up there I can see some camping supplies and other stuff. But I notice there's actually no access to the storage loft. How do you actually get up there?
Well, you have to just climb up this pole, you know, like a little monkey. We're all kind of domesticated monkeys in a way, but I really like climbing, so there's one foot stand right here and another one here, and then just swinging around, and then I'm able to access everything here. And for coming down, the same thing, like holding on and then 1 foot stand and down. I guess when I get older I have to change that, but right now it works perfect.
One thing I noticed this place doesn't have is a toilet, shower, bathroom. What do you do for all that stuff?
I have an outdoor shower just up the hill there, and yeah, where I live there are just a couple washrooms, so I just use that.
So what is this property you're on right here?
Well, it's a botanical garden.
And you just have a connection with the owner, which is how you were able to park here, or how did that work?
I work here since 6 years, and I started as a volunteer, fresh when I came from Germany. I stayed here and went through all kinds of different jobs in the garden, and I'm still here.
And you really have designed this tiny house to take full advantage of the location. You've got these incredible windows, these skylights that all just open out and give you this exceptional view of the forest.
Yeah, I really like having light in here. That's why everything is white.
And you've got a bathtub out here as well.
Yeah, actually this winter I got this bathtub. It's more like a hot tub. So I built a fire and some copper spirals so I can sit in there for hours and can enjoy the hot tub with Cynthia.
Now, one other thing that I adore about this house that we haven't noticed yet, and I can't believe I didn't mention it when we walked in, but it is this incredible doorway here that is so well done.
It's another piece what I found on this property with a little bit of history. When I was building it, I was like, oh, how do I gonna make this frame around the door? And I found this piece of wood and cut it in half, and it just fits perfectly.
And this hammer as well, that looks like it's got some stories behind it.
Well, this hammer built this house, so every nail in this house is hammered in with this hammer.
And I love how you've really honored the tool by giving it such a pride of space up there as well.
Yeah. Well, there's always another nail to go in, you know, another day.
And what's this thing up here?
Lots of people think it's for drying clothes, but it's actually a pull-up bar.
Really?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep fit out here, you know. So this is U-wood. It looks like it breaks, but it's pretty strong, you know. So I can just, you know, every day, you know, get a couple going.
What a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And what are these ropes here for?
They're for a hammock.
No way.
Yeah, I really, in the winter especially, like to have my ass right on the wood stove.
I can totally see that. What a brilliant idea. And then up here we've got your sleeping loft as well.
Yep.
Great. Can we have a look?
Yeah, totally.
All right, let's go up. I love the style of this loft. What you've actually done with the sacking here is really clever as well. That's such a nice way of bringing some extra character into the space.
It did save me a little bit of time. At the time I was thinking, oh, how am I going to do the tongue and groove? So I had those coffee bags around and it worked out really well.
So how long have you actually lived in the house now?
I lived in here for over 2 years.
Did you have to go through a very big downsizing process to move into the home?
I arrived 6 years ago here with just one backpack. So for me, from there on, it was just upgrading. So this tiny house is an upgrade for me.
You've recently had your wife move into the tiny house with you. What does she think about it?
Yeah, she really loves the tiny house and the whole idea. And it's just great living together.
Living in a tiny house, is it what you expected it would be?
I didn't really had any expectations. I mean, I had the hope to be able to find a place to fulfill dreams and be able to have space for creativity as well as enough money to survive.
And talking about money, what did the space actually cost you to build?
With everything right now, I would say $23,000.
To actually own your own home for $23,000, that's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a full-time job and it was like worked on it on my time off and weekends, and I could pay it off right away.
So you're actually building another tiny house next door. Tell me about that. Are you looking at actually starting a tiny house business?
Yeah, I want to keep building tiny houses. I love it. And the one I'm building right now is for this property here. And I built it a little bit to the specifications of the person I built it for.
So it sounds like here on the property you might have a little bit of a tiny house village going soon.
Well, if it keeps going like that, yeah, I feel I want to keep building. Whenever there's idle time, I would build for myself. I want to build another small tiny house and park it maybe right behind this tiny house. I really like living in a tiny house because it combines for me the philosophy of simplicity in a real form. A tiny house allows me to consume less, to take less space, less resources. So I'm really happy to be doing it by free choice. This world is limited, we don't have much resources, and we have to use them wisely and not just build huge houses. The consumption of humanity is destroying our own habitat. So we have to find ways to consume less and be happy with it and have still a good life quality. And a tiny house for me combines those things.
This whole build, it just really impresses me. I love how you've brought so much art and character into your home. I think it really shows off who you are as a person and a very neat creative edge. Thank you so much for sharing this with me, Phil.
Thank you, Bryce. It was great to have you here.
This is a tiny house that will leave a lasting impression on me. Phil's ability to creatively work with wood has taken what would otherwise be a relatively normal tiny house on wheels and turned it into a fantasy forest home. I feel very fortunate to have been given just a little glimpse into his world.